She was trapped in her own body. The daughter of one of the most powerful CEOs in the country, surrounded by the best doctors money could buy, yet no one could help her walk again. Her father would have given his entire fortune to see her smile, to hear her laugh like she used to. But money couldn't fix what was broken inside her spirit. Until one ordinary Tuesday morning, when a single dad with calloused hands and a gentle heart walked into that mansion and said 5 words that would change everything: "Let me help her stand." What happened next brought an entire household to tears and reminded us all that sometimes the greatest healing doesn't come from wealth or status, but from the pure, unexpected kindness of a stranger who simply refuses to walk away. Before we dive into this incredible story, if you believe in the power of kindness and want more stories that restore your faith in humanity, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for Kindness World. Drop a comment below telling us about a time someone's kindness changed your life. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like so we can spread this message of hope to even more people who need it today. Now, let me take you back to where it all began. Rebecca Chen was 17 when the accident happened. She was driving home from a charity event, ironically one where she'd been volunteering to help underprivileged kids, when a drunk driver ran a red light and slammed into her car. The impact shattered her spine and left her paralyzed from the waist down. Her father, James Chen, CEO of a multinational tech company, immediately assembled the best medical team in the world. Surgeons, physical therapists, specialists from Switzerland, Japan, Germany. They came, they examined, they tried. Some procedures helped with the pain. But none could give her back what she'd lost. The worst part wasn't the wheelchair. It was watching Rebecca fade away emotionally. The vibrant, compassionate girl who used to light up every room became silent and withdrawn. She stopped painting, stopped reading, stopped seeing her friends. She'd sit by her bedroom window for hours, staring at the garden below, at the life happening out there that she felt would never be hers again. James Chen was desperate. He'd built an empire, commanded boardrooms, negotiated billion-dollar deals. But he couldn't fix his own daughter's broken spirit, and it was destroying him. That's when his head of security suggested something unusual. A friend knew a physical therapist who worked with veterans, someone who had an unconventional approach. The man's name was Marcus Webb, a 42-year-old single father who ran a small clinic in a working-class neighborhood across town. James was skeptical. What could this man offer that the world's leading specialists couldn't? But he was also out of options, so he made the call. 2 days later, Marcus arrived at the Chen mansion in his old pickup truck, looking completely out of place among the luxury cars and manicured lawns. He carried a worn backpack and wore simple clothes that had clearly seen better days. The household staff exchanged glances. This was the miracle worker. Marcus asked to meet Rebecca alone. James hesitated but finally agreed. Marcus wheeled himself into Rebecca's room, and she looked up, startled. "Why are you in a wheelchair?" she asked, the first question she'd asked anyone in weeks. Marcus smiled. "Car accident, 8 years ago. Drunk driver, just like yours." "I know your story, Rebecca." Her eyes widened. The expensive specialists had been professional, sympathetic even, but none of them truly understood. This man did. "I'm not here to make you walk," Marcus said gently. "I'm here to help you stand. There's a difference." Rebecca frowned, confused. Over the next hour, Marcus shared his own story. After his accident, he'd spent 2 years drowning in anger and self-pity while raising his 10-year-old daughter Emma alone. Every doctor told him he'd never walk again. And they were right. But one day, Emma had asked him, "Daddy, are you going to be sad forever?" That question broke something open in him. He realized he could choose to stand tall in spirit even if his legs wouldn't hold him. He went back to school, became a therapist, and dedicated his life to helping others find their strength again. "Your father's money can't buy you peace," Marcus told Rebecca. "But your own courage can. Let me help you find it." Something in his words reached past all her defenses. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Okay," she whispered. "Help me stand." What followed wasn't a medical miracle. Marcus didn't cure Rebecca's paralysis. Instead, he helped her discover something more powerful: purpose beyond her pain. He came 3 times a week, never accepting more than a modest payment despite James's attempts to pay him a fortune. Marcus brought Emma along sometimes, and the 2 girls became friends. Emma taught Rebecca to paint from her wheelchair, adapting techniques she'd learned watching her dad navigate life differently. Marcus introduced Rebecca to other young people with disabilities, including several veterans from his clinic. He helped her see that her life wasn't over, just different. Slowly, Rebecca began to emerge from her darkness. She started a foundation to provide wheelchairs and therapy for accident victims who couldn't afford care. She went back to school, pursued adaptive sports, and even began public speaking about resilience. The transformation wasn't overnight. There were setbacks and hard days. But Marcus stayed constant, never treating her like a broken rich girl who needed fixing, but as a whole person who needed someone to believe in her strength. James Chen watched in amazement as his daughter came back to life, not despite her wheelchair, but by learning to embrace her new reality and find meaning within it. 2 years later, at Rebecca's foundation gala, she stood at the microphone, her father pushing her wheelchair to the stage. She thanked Marcus, who sat in the audience holding Emma's hand. "A single dad with nothing but kindness walked into my life and gave me back everything that mattered," she said, her voice strong and clear. "He helped me stand tall, not in the way I expected, but in the way I needed most. He taught me that being broken doesn't mean being less, and that real strength comes from lifting others up." The room erupted in applause, but Marcus just smiled that gentle smile, the same one he'd brought into a hurting girl's room and offered freely, asking nothing in return. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give isn't money or expertise. It's showing up with an open heart and saying, "Let me help you stand." That's the kindness that changes everything.